Today's stories include Fairgame has reportedly slipped. Is PlayStation doing a big summer showcase? And Phil Spencer speaks on Everwild. We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Monday, February 17th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adelia Jr. Joining me is the tastemaker, Roger Picorni.
Feels good. It feels good on a Monday to be here, man. This is a good week. I just feel it in the. I just feel in the air. We've got a great GAMESCAST coming up after this. It's a good week. Good week.
But like, what's up with Tim Geddes holding us back? You ever thought about that?
Oh, dude.
What's up with Tim Geddes holding us back?
Man, that's the thing about KFGD, man. People were always holding me back, right? It was usually not Tim, right? But now he's holding you back.
Now he's holding me back.
Fuck,
because he's hanging out with Karl Jacobs.
Shit.
I saw that on the calendar. I was like, I want to hang out with Karl Jacobs.
Shit.
I want Roger to hang out with Karl
It's crazy
Jacobs.
how he works, right? Because he's going to come for the interview, right? We're going to sneak him through the back. He's going to do the interview and leave. You know what I mean? There's going to be no way for you to interact with him, right?
Yeah, like I just want to say hi to the homie.
Fuck, that's crazy, man.
I mean, what else you got going on this week?
Oh man, I played a lot of Redacted. Well, there's one Redacted, but it's not Redacted anymore. I can talk about the fact that I've played Yakuza. That is going to be a review tomorrow. We're going to be talking about that with Brittany Bombacker. So that's exciting.
Very exciting.
Very excited about that, to tell you about that. Pirate Yakuza. Sorry, I'm going to try it again. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Woo! We did it, everybody.
Insane title for a video game.
I'm excited to talk about that tomorrow. Not enough words. Not enough words. I'll get into that in my review.
like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, but it's not Ichiban or Kiryu.
Gaiden. You gotta add Gaiden.
Gaiden, and it's the other guy that a lot of you guys love. His name is Majima.
See, Barrett knew it.
That's the full title right there. That's the full title.
That's the next one right there. So I played that. A lot of Redacteds. I've been playing Hollow Knight, man. I talked about this last time, but like I'm getting there. I think by Friday I should have my full review, because I think we have a lighter GAMESCAST on Friday. We're gonna do like what we've been playing. I think I'm gonna do a full review.
Review of Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, bro. Fuck, man. It's a few years late.
I love that we're doing this though.
Yeah.
Like going back, playing the classics. Mike played Resident Evil 4 for the first time a few months ago and reviewed it on GAMESCAST.
Yeah,
I love that you're doing Hollow Knight. I just started Dark Souls. I know Bear also just started Dark Souls.
You're an influencer, Blessing.
I am.
It was that, and also I was just kind of in the Souls mood, especially with Night Rain. Whenever Night Rain wasn't on, just wanting to play something. So yeah, I started that this weekend as well.
Yeah,
Roger, have you been slapped since the whole incident? Because I know that like every time you start Hollow Knight,
I don't know what that means.
My butt.
do you think that like do you get like a tension whenever you start Hollow Knight? You're like, oh god, someone's gonna slap me from behind.
Oh yeah. No, I
PTSD.
genuinely do. Sometimes I'm just walking around and I just hear a certain musical stinger, and I'm like, oh shit,
like, that's gonna
guy's here.
But Dark Souls 1, Bless,
dude,
I know you've experienced a couple of the moments, but like I really was not prepared for the level of level design that Andy's been talking about for years. And it's crazy. The way things loop back around and all that stuff, it's fucking phenomenal.
Well, I think it all is a perfect storm of Elden Ring, Night Rain, having like Dark Souls bosses in it, plus the top 100 games thing. Maybe be like, okay, right now is the time to start Dark Souls. I don't want to say I made the mistake, because I think it is the right move to be playing this game on stream, because I think it's made for really good content. There's a clip that somebody made over the weekend of, I don't want to spoil it, and Barrett, see if you can find it actually. Actually, it'll be tough to find. It's like an Evan Yon clip.
Yeah, he posts on YouTube as well, so I want to see if maybe he posted that.
But basically, I got you baited. And like, there's that moment, and there are so many other moments where it's like, oh man, thank God we caught this on stream, because this is actually really fun and entertaining. Barry, you found it?
Yeah, hold on. Hold on. YouTube Shorts are weird.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts are weird.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think it makes for such good streaming content, but it has the I guess the bad effect of, man, I can't play this game off stream. I don't want to make progress.
That's all you want to do
off stream, but I would love to play this game right now, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been looking for a game that's going to hold me, a game that's going to like keep my attention.
Yeah.
And I've been struggling in the first month and a half of this year to find a game that I'm like, I want to see all the way through. I want to roll credits.
What's up with Outer Wilds?
I am slow playing Outer Wilds.
Okay.
Outer Wilds is like such and I don't want to go crazy. Here's the thing. Last week was the horny week. This will be the last bastion of horniness.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But like
leftover horniness from last week.
After this, no more horniness for the week.
Yeah.
All right.
About what you're about to say
about what I'm
Outer
about to say
Wilds?
about Outer Wilds. All right. After this, no more horniness. Outer Wilds for me is like the edging video game. Right. I am slow playing this. I am letting this thing last.
Slow yerkin.
Yeah.
I am playing Outer Wilds like one cycle at a time.
Yeah.
Every day it's like one more cycle.
Yeah, that
I'm
feels
getting
good.
there.
Yeah.
I'm letting that thing simmer.
Oh, here
Play
we
this
go.
clip.
Here's the-
She makes contact with you, just a really tough boss. And out of nowhere,
But I just looked at a note that said
took
try
the world
rear.
by storm.
He just got baited though. You missed that. He got baited pretty hard.
I was hoping nobody noticed. And he looked over. He got away. He was like, he was hoping to God that nobody saw that. Show Andy right this instant. Show Andy right because he went to open up his chest and then it's like try rear.
Hey, you can stop it there. So for audio listeners, right? You know, when you're playing Dark Souls, they got notes on the ground. So basically, I look at
That's
it.
awesome.
There's a chest that I'm like, oh, I want to open this thing. I go to it, it doesn't open, and I see a note that says try rear. I then try to open it from the back, and nothing. And I like this is why Karl is as like successful as he is.
Yeah.
This is why he's as funny as he is, because he catches it straight away. And
I wouldn't have caught that.
He caught it, looks at me.
So good.
And like I know I've been got. I know there's nothing I can do to get out of this situation. It calls me out immediately. It is hilarious.
That's awesome.
If you're an audio listener, you got to see the video clip. But Roger, enough about all
about
of that.
that.
Let's talk about today's news, because remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, and now Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get all our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, some of your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. Blessing and Mike, that's me, we'll be at MagicCon Chicago this Friday. If you're around at the convention, come find them and say hi. If you're in the Chicago area, we'll be holding a meetup at Portillo's off Canal and Taylor at 7:30 p.m. through 8:30 p.m. on Friday. So come hang out. Now, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, right?
Tell me the deal.
If you're in the Chicago area, come through. This is your chance. Hang out with me and Mike. But I need somebody who's in the know. Is that a good Portillo's for a meetup? Like, how busy is it? You know, is it spacious?
It's
Is
the
it,
Portillo's in the hood.
yeah,
You're
like,
"Ah,
is it in the
shit."
hood? Like, give me the vibe, because I tried to do research and I couldn't
Hard,
figure
yeah.
it out.
That's so true. Yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, let's go to a McDonald's meetup, and you're like, ah, shit, that's the wrong McDonald's.
1000%.
Shouldn't have done the one on North Sharon Avenue. Shouldn't have done that one.
So I need y'all to, for people in Chicago who have been at Portillo's on Canal and Taylor, is that
this
a
is
good?
not the time to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should have workshopped this one beforehand. You not announce it and then be like, also, by the
Why
way,
don't you call? Let them know.
I'm gonna call like a random fast food establishment in Chicago. Be like, yo, I'm a podcaster. Like, can I have a bunch of nerds show?
Hey, is this
show
in the
up?
hood?
Are you in the hood? Yeah. Are you in the hood? Like, what's
No,
good?
just be like, hey, I'm someone known on the internet. We're looking to have a meetup with our fans. Do you think this day would be an okay time to like have a fuck ton of people come into your restaurant and like overfill the place?
Oh, that's not a fuck ton. It's not a
yeah,
fuck
I mean, they're
ton.
gonna be paying. They're
Yeah,
gonna
it'll be
they're
they're paying the
10
customers.
people.
Maybe not a fuck ton, but enough that it will, they're gonna feel busy. They're gonna feel
Yeah.
like, oh shit,
Well,
we have like a rush of people coming in
This
here.
is the other thing is that
Greg
this,
Miller does this all the time. Bless.
this
Just
is
step up.
also, and I asked Greg, and Greg was like, "Oh, I'll take it to the top." Greg started emailing people that are like executives and shit at Portillo's.
You know, you shouldn't worry about it when Chris Angus in the chat said, just send it. Just send
Yeah,
it.
we'll
When
just
Chris
send it.
Angus telling you to send it, you know what I mean? The most
Chris
responsible
Angus
person I know.
hangs out with Mike too much,
That's true.
So
This is also the Portillo's that's closest to the convention center for MagicCon. So I then have like the secondary
shit.
thing of, are all the MagicCon people gonna go to Portillo's? But also, I don't know how big MagicCon is. So I'm like, is that even a thing to
It's
worry
big.
about? Big?
We looked into the numbers. It's big numbers.
Well, show up at Portillo's. It's gonna be a party, everybody.
Yeah, woo!
And if you're showing up for the meetup, definitely like don't show up and buy something, right? Because if it is like a busy time, make sure we're spending money, like treating the establishment well, all
Clean up.
that. Clean up after yourselves, right? Treat the establishment with respect and all that.
maybe
But it
don't
should be a
ask
fun
for
time.
permission, but like still like give them a heads up,
Yeah,
It would
I'll
be
send them a
nice.
text.
You'll send-
Remember, we're an 11-person business, all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get GAMESCAST, which is Tim and Karl hanging out. Will me and Roger just crash it,
Whoa.
make it about ourselves? Hey, you'll have to
Fuck
tune
yeah.
in and see.
Hey, Carl. you
Hey, what's up, Karl?
want to hear about me?
Let me talk about myself, Karl. After that, after that is the stream. That's going to be Nick playing a game. Nick, what are you playing? I saw him walk in.
Outer
Did he
Wilds.
walk back out?
Outer Wilds.
He's playing Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
He's playing Outer
He was
Wilds.
blown away by you playing that game, and then he was like, "Hey, I want to play Outer Worlds," and I'm like, "No, it's Outer Wilds." And then we had the conversation like,
We had a conversation on Friday afternoon of like, are you sure it's Outer Wilds you want to play? Because then he said it was like a Fallout-like game.
No, it was the opposite. Where he I think we were talking about Outer Worlds, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, like," and we were like, "Oh, it's relevant because of Avowed and all that stuff." And he was like, "Yeah, I saw Blessing playing it at his desk. Looks super cool." And I was like, "Nick, that is not Outer Worlds. That is Outer Wilds." And that, I don't know if that's a game you want to stream, but honestly,
I love it. I love the energy of like Explorer Nick, right? Like him going out there finding things. Like this is.
I honestly think it'll be a good stream.
Yeah,
I think Nick playing Outer Wilds is either going to go really well, or he gets 30 minutes in.
Yeah, we have Outer Worlds download as well.
We have Outer Worlds downloaded. We'll see what happens there. And then later in the day, we're doing a Cobra Kai series finale review screencast. That's happening after the stream, and of course you can watch that live. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Gregway. We don't have a Kind of Funny podcast this afternoon, just as a heads up if you're on Patreon. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Karl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Karen Lindener. Today we're brought to you by Built Rewards, Factor, and Stash, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Sony's PS5 live service title, Fairgames, has reportedly slipped. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. Fairgames, the PS5 live service game from Sony and Haven Studios, has reportedly slipped into next year. That's according to Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb, who claimed on a podcast this week that the co-op heist shooter, first announced nearly 2 years ago, has been internally delayed into 2026. Announced in 2023 with no release window, Fairgames is described by its creators as a fresh, modern take on the heist genre. The PS5 and PC game is the debut title from Haven Studios. The Canadian firm, which was co-founded by Assassin's Creed co-creator Jade Raymond, was acquired by Sony in 2022. Creative director Matthew Leduc said of the game, quote, "In a nutshell, this is a thrilling competitive heist game where you join an underground movement to rob the ultra-rich and rebalance the scales," end quote. Roger.
Hi.
Fairgames slipping internally into 2026. Does that report surprise you?
No, not at all. I mean, especially after Concord and everything that happened, right? And also, we probably are getting Marathon this year, potentially. Yeah, you would think so,
That's
right?
my guess. That's my prediction. Yeah.
They were very bullish on the live service elements of PlayStation, right? Clearly, Concord did not work out. It's time to do one a year, right? If you're going to do any at all, right? You take one, you learn from it. Hopefully, that's not a Concord disaster, and you pull back. Fairgames is also an uphill battle, right? We forget that this is like a Payday situation, and Payday 3 did not work out, right? That was for a lot of different reasons, right? But still, like, Payday 2 is the juggernaut of this, niche sort of side of the genre, right? So they need to kind of find their own footing. They need to have a large marketing push. They need to have a lot of betas, and they need to make sure that this is in front of all the people that would want to play this game. So yeah, take as much time as you need to. This doesn't surprise me whatsoever. How about you?
Doesn't surprise me. I think the thing that surprises me more is that internally this was slated for 2025. I think that's more the shocker, because
You just always saw this as a 2026 game?
yeah, well, it's what you started talking about at the beginning of the statement, which is you want to pace these things out, right? Maybe do one new live service a year, pair that with maybe one or two big AAA games, and then have maybe your third-party partnerships fill in the gaps around that, right? Like, you want to pace yourselves out. Them launching Marathon and Fairgames in the same year feels like a bit too much, and I think coming off of Concord, that is proof that you need to take this slow and really nurture these titles one at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think even Concord being, I won't say the one, because of course Helldivers 2 was earlier in this year, and I think earlier last year, and I think we forget that that's kind of part of this conversation where we talk about the live service stuff, right? But Concord is one that was so mishandled that if you mishandled that one, like, I don't see you pushing 2 out the door in 1 year, right? I think you got to get this thing right. And right now, I think the priority probably is Marathon. Marathon, that is the game coming from Bungie. That is, I think, in my opinion, the Sony live service thing with the most promise. And I say that even not having the utmost faith in it, right? Like, that's one that I want to see. That's one that I'm going to need my hands on the sticks to really, be pushed either way on it. But right now, I think we're all kind of down on the Sony live service push, and you need to get the next one right. Yeah. You need to be, everybody like all chefs in the kitchen working on this thing.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because when you even say marathon, right, and you say the Bungie of it all, there's an asterisk there, right? Like if it's successful, I think people will be like, that's great for PlayStation, but it's also not really fully PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like it is like we talk about Helldivers 2, right? Like that is not fully PlayStation, right? The Concord was fully PlayStation. Like that's the way that we view it. That's the way we see it, right? And of course, Marathon Bungie is underneath of PlayStation, but still it feels like a different entity. I'm so interested if Fairgames is that first one outside of Marathon to come up and be like, hey, Concord sucked. This is the way to go. Like, hopefully this is the way. Like, I don't know. I feel like those are different things in the gamer's eyes, or at least there's always going to be that little asterisk way of talking about Marathon.
I think
specifically.
I think so, right? I think when we talk about the full story right now, of the PlayStation Live service push, I know I just put Helldivers 2 in that conversation, but I think regardless of the live service push, Helldivers 2 was going to be a PlayStation thing regardless. Helldivers 1 was and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, Helldivers 1 I believe was a PlayStation exclusive. I don't know about PlayStation Studios thing, because PlayStation Studios is newer. Like that wasn't it was more PlayStation Worldwide Studios at that point, I'm pretty sure. But either way, I think Helldivers 2 would have been an exclusive game without the live service push from PlayStation. When we're talking about Bungie, I think Bungie's Marathon game, I think regardless of PlayStation's live service push, I would say that was probably going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And so we're really talking about, as far as the major ones that we know of, because I'm sure there are ones that we don't know of yet, I think Concord and Fairgames are the original PlayStation is making this thing happen.
Yeah.
And even Concord, I might even be pushing that too much, because I think Concord might have existed. I think Concord did exist actually before PlayStation took that over. But even still, it seemed like PlayStation had a very big hand on, hey, we see this, we have this strategy, we are adopting this into our PlayStation Live service thing. Fairgames feels like more of a ground up thing, but y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm 100% with you as far as Fairgames' role in this. All that said, I don't think Fairgames comes out.
Really?
I don't think Fairgames sees the light of day.
So what do you think this looks like for PlayStation, right? Do you think that Marathon, whatever happens to Marathon, right? Do you think that, how about start there? If Marathon is a huge success, do you think that Fairgames comes out?
No.
Do you think that has any play? You'd have no play at all. They don't
No.
see the dollar bills and they're like, hey, listen, we could do this. Maybe we're actually good at this. Maybe we can kill this.
I think Concord was such a monumental failure. Like, we can't underrate how much of a failure Concord was for PlayStation. And I think that's an immediate pull the cord. Like, I think Marathon being what it is, right? Marathon being a Bungie thing. Marathon, I think, possibly having juice in a different way than these other things do, puts it in a different conversation. I think Concord sucking up a bunch of money and then like basically getting none back, right? Like, of course it got some money back, but like not nearly nearly the money that you put into it. I think that is one of those ones where it's we can't replicate this failure.
So then why not cancel Fairgames now? Right? Like why are we kicking the can down the road? Why are we still talking about gummy bears, right? Why are we still talking about other games that potentially are still in the canon right there?
Yeah.
Especially with a delayed game, like that's a longer development cycle where you're spending more money to have pay these people to work on this game and all this stuff.
So that's why that's my
But
only
I think we've
hesitation.
been here before. As far as games being delayed. All right, finally we're cutting the cord. Like we
just saw that with, not actually announced, right? But we talked about Ben Studios and
Ben Studio, Blue Point. Last of Us Online is another one that they announced and felt like we were hearing about it forever, and then eventually got canceled. Like this is the beginning of this getting canceled as far as what that looks like.
Yeah,
and I think that is we don't know what was happening, I guess, internally here, because this is just a report from Jeff Grubb, and it was kind of surface level as far as, hey, this has been internally delayed. But then I get into the questions of, all right, what are the conversations happening right now? Is it that you need more time? Is it that you need to go back to
the drawing board
a bit? Is this a response to Concord?
Yeah.
Are you trying to figure out was this hey, we had people come in and look at this and it is not up to our standard, and so we want to push it? Again, that happened with Last of Us Online, and then we saw what happened with Last of Us Online. All signs for me are pointing to this is going to get canceled.
And I totally get that. I think my only quote-unquote hesitation there is that this seems to me like, even though I did mention Payday, right? It's kind of only Payday, right? Like this, it seems like an open area for this genre, for this game to potentially come out there if it is free to play, if it is, $20, $25, whatever it is on Steam. If it's day one, if this game is really good, it could hit. And I see a world where, I mean, from the get-go, we talked about Concord, and we're like, I don't think this can hit, right? Like, it feels too generic. There's too many games like this. We have Marvel Rivals coming up. We have Overwatch. Like, there's so many games that are like Concord. It just doesn't have the stuff. Fairgames could have the stuff just enough to, replace Payday. If you really want. Payday's fucking huge.
Yeah, but I like this. I want to bring in a super chat to assist with this conversation. Sky Forsen writes in and says, Concord didn't suck, though. It failed because of the price. And I want to make it clear, I don't think I said that it sucked. It's documented that at Kind of Funny, we liked Concord. At least enough, right? Like, I think we gave it like 7s. I might have given it a 6.5. I forget. But we played it, and I stand by. Concord was good. One of the problems was that it was just good, right? It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic.
It's also $40.
But it was $40. I think the marketing failed it as well. I think there's a list of reasons why Concord was the failure that it was. And yeah, it comes down to price. It comes down to, I think it was very badly marketed. I think the
market itself is just like oversaturated with stuff.
Yeah, the market itself is oversaturated. I think, and to your point, Roger, of like, maybe with Fairgames, you can make something good enough to then occupy that stage. I think Concord is an example of something that was good enough, right? But like, you can't fly off of good enough.
That's fair.
In a multiplayer live service online thing, I think you have to be fantastic, or you have to
you have to stand out in some way, like Helldivers did.
Yeah, and I think, but that's the interesting thing about this is like Payday 3 didn't hit in a way that those gamers wanted, right? Like those gamers were itching for something new, and Payday 3 just wasn't it. So the fact that everyone goes back to Payday 2 now, which is crazy. Like they just stopped playing the new one, they just are playing Payday 2. So that's my only thing is like, there is nothing there, right? Like the closest thing to a heist game that I think people play other than Payday is GTA Online, right? Like talking to Lester and trying to do some heists. Like that's a huge part of that game now, but like, I love it. It's such a fun time. Like there is something there. And I do think that there's a space in that market. And I see where this game cannot be canceled because of that, right? Like I see that it just fits in.
But like how much of a space? I guess
it's not a huge space. It's not like the biggest space in the world. It's not going to make them trillions of dollars, right? But this could be the third base hit that they need to get things going to be like, okay, maybe we can do live service games and actually do them correctly.
Yeah,
I could see that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so for a few reasons. One, because I love seeing games be successful, right? Two, if this game doesn't work out, then this studio's done, right? Haven Studios just goes away because this studio was founded on this game. And so if this doesn't work, then, bye-bye. But then also, right, like, I would love to see new spaces, or I guess spaces like that either carved out or, see new life breathed into it. My main concern here is I'm with you as far as I think there is an audience for it. I just don't know if the audience is big enough to make Fairgames into a success, right? Like, are the people that play Payday, are they going to see Fairgames and go, oh, I want to play that? Or are they going to see it and go, I'm just going to stay on Payday 2 because that's what I play, right? Like, is there a heist genre fan base that is... I'll compare it to the Overwatch fan base.
Also in 2025, by the way.
In 2025.
Because Payday 2 was huge back in the day, but, it's dwindled over the years.
Yeah, and to compare it to something like Overwatch, right? Like, Overwatch came out in 2016, super successful, has, I think, I'll say carried the hero shooter genre in the last almost decade. Marvel Rivals came out, and Marvel Rivals ate their lunch and was fantastic. And in order to do that to Overwatch, it had to, one, play really well. Two, have the Marvel license, right? One of the biggest licenses you can have in the world, right? Be free
and also
to play.
Be connected to Fortnite, and also like have this insane like marketing strategy with it all. But yeah,
like Marvel Rivals was essentially the warship that had to be constructed. It had to be, the phrase from the Bible of no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals is a weapon that was formed against Overwatch, and it prospered. Like, that was a specific way. We have everything we need here. I don't think Fairgames can be remotely close to anything like that for a Payday, or even for anything that I think I just have doubt as far as the audience being there in this specific genre to turn Fairgames into something that PlayStation is going to look at and go, hell yeah, we sold 4 million copies or whatever they want out of it.
I also say the same thing about Marathon. To a certain extent, right? I mean, there's so many extraction shooters at this point. That's a genre that is quickly being oversaturated, right? I do think that there's room for Marathon to come out there and be like the one other than Tarkov, but Tarkov is still there. And it's
I
fucking
1000%
huge.
agree with
so
you.
So
there. Yeah.
I just see almost, if you were to compare the two and you say, hey, Roger, we have Marathon, which is trying to be an extraction shooter, and we have Fairgames, which is trying to be a heist, a simulation, whatever game. I would be like, I feel like Fairgames has a better shot.
No way.
Or at least capturing more of that audience, right? Even if that audience isn't big, that's a dedicated audience, right? That you're going to get, potentially, you can have 20,000 people playing your game.
You wouldn't go with Marathon just because of the Bungie name?
I would go with Bungie. True. If you were to take away the names of it. If you were to take away the names of it. I'm just saying, like, if you were to have the genres, right?
Yeah.
Extraction.
You're basically saying what
I would choose
what's something that could be more accessible between something that wants to be a heist game versus
niche.
something that wants to be an extraction thing. And you would go heist because there's more space there possibly.
Exactly.
I think for me it is the Bungie, plus we know there is an audience there for a extraction thing. I think there is an audience for a heist thing. I just think it's way smaller than the extraction shooter thing right now.
It just depends on the budgets, right? Is this a $200 million game, right? If we learn this is a $250 million game, then fuck everything I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If this is a modest, like if they have been working on this for a while, if they have a modest budget that can be recouped after selling 3 to 4 million units, I think that's possible.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll see.
I like your mode of thinking, Roger.
Thank you.
Let's move on. To story number 2, Sony reportedly might not hold a full PS5 summer showcase this year. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. Sony reportedly hasn't decided whether to hold its annual PS5 showcase this summer or a smaller scale state of play. According to Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb, Sony Interactive Entertainment is currently debating internally between the two models, the latter of which typically focuses more on third-party games and smaller announcements. Quote, they could still have some fun announcements, and they could still start bolstering expectations for 2026, Grubb said, of Sony's marketing plans for the rest of the year. Quote, internally, it sounds like they're debating and flopping between maybe making something this summer a full showcase versus another state of play, but they are considering a showcase. And if they have a showcase, that means they'll have a lot of stuff to talk about. And at that point, you would definitely expect to see Wolverine and a lot of other games that could come out next year. End quote.
Well, I mean, Jeff Grubb, incredible journalist. He's incredible, but he's also, he doesn't know what he's talking about because the Raj Stradamus has already said in May there's going to be a PlayStation showcase. So I've already said it. Like I've already said, he should just listen to this podcast. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, that's crazy. That's
Jeff
crazy.
Grubb, get it together.
That's crazy.
All right, listen to what Raj
Fucking, what are we talking about,
Raj Stradamus. I can't
Raj
say the word.
Stradamus, bro.
Raj
I mean,
Stradamus.
Switch 2 announced. I already said it. January, February next month. GTA 6 trailer delayed to
When does Phil
2026.
Spencer retire?
Oh yeah, Phil Spencer
That's
retires.
August, right?
Yeah, August. Yeah. See, he's listening. August, Phil Spencer retires. Everybody. This. I think it's gonna be a showcase. I think you got to have one, even if it isn't like the most back-to-back insane bangers. I think you're gonna have a show. You have Wolverine. Like I think you got to show Wolverine this year. You don't want to put that just to a state of play. You have Ghost of Yotei.
Well, no, because you put it in Jeff Keighley's thing.
No. Oh.
That's the thing. Here's where I come, because me and Tim keep having this back and forth, right? But and I see exactly where Tim's coming from, and a lot of the audiences. I think a lot of people disagree with me. I think PlayStation, and honestly, this is Jeff Grubb's thing here is to my point. I think they're winging it every single time. I believe him when he says, they don't know yet. They're still considering.
Figure it out.
I think
isn't that much most businesses though? Like they're just kind of winging it to a certain extent.
I think people think that PlayStation is way more of a well-oiled machine than they actually are. The people that work at PlayStation are like me and you. They're winging this shit, and I say that in a loose way, right? Yeah. Obviously, they're professionals. Obviously, you got to look at the board and see what you have.
The showcases and the marketing beats, those are always in flux, right? You have a GTA 6 out there. You have
1,000%.
World events that might destroy the outlook of the world, right? You don't want to put something in August and then, oh my God, something tragic happens, right? You got to kind of keep these things loose, right? On purpose.
Yes. And this is one of those ones, me and Tim had a really good conversation on KFGD last week after the PlayStation State of Play, and Tim said something that actually resonated with me when it comes to PlayStation showcases and presentations and things, right? Tim, because my thing was talking about how it's tough for me to judge showcases, it's tough for me to judge these presentations when they're just marketing, right? Yeah. This is advertisements at the end of the day, right? And Tim, I think, made the really salient point of, well, putting together a showcase is an art. Right? Making a good trailer is an art. That is a thing. And art is a thing that, we're here to dig into. We're here to analyze. We're here to pick apart and critique and all these things. And I thought that was actually a very good point about it. I think the thing about a PlayStation showcase, right? And showcases in general, that still I look at and very much makes this whole thing interesting is I think when it comes down to it, even though I agree that it's art, I think when you're talking about something like video games, right? Maybe when you're talking about narrative, or you're talking about game design, or you're talking about even outside of video games, music, lyrics, like all these things, you are talking about something that I think has to be informed by art. Otherwise, capitalism and business is going to taint the product to a point where it becomes visible, and it becomes like, I don't think it resonates with the audience as much, because you can see the dollar signs on screen, or you can hear the dollar signs in the lyrics, right? Like, there are artists I listen to and I'm like, oh, you're a part of the machine. And oftentimes that's great. A lot of pop music is part of the machine. And I'm getting away from this, but I'll get back to it. A lot of pop music, part of the machine. But guess what? I fucking love pop music. I love Sabrina Carpenter. And just because she's pop doesn't make her not art, right? Like, I think that's the whole thing. I say all that to say that showcases and presentation and marketing events and Xbox developer directs and PlayStation showcases and Nintendo directs, those are 90% dictated by the business and by the marketing beats that are appropriate in that moment. And so I think, what month are we in? We're in February. By the time we get to, let's say, March, because obviously PlayStation professionals, they're going to have this figured out sooner than later. By the time we get to March, what's going to happen is, maybe May, or maybe April, what's going to happen is the team that puts together the state of plays and the showcases, they're going to look at it, they're going to look at each other, they're going to go, what do we have?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have these third-party things? Oh, we have Resident Evil 9. Okay, we have a couple things, right? Maybe we have a trailer ready for Ghost of Yotei with the release date. Is that enough for a state of play? Or sorry, is that enough for a showcase? Yes? All right, let's have a showcase and, like, dress it up.
Yeah.
Oh, is that maybe too small for a showcase? All right, let's make it a state of play. And they're going to dust their hands off, and that's going to be it. Yeah. That's where this decision is going to come down to. So I say all that to say that, like, I guess in managing your expectations for what these things are, I think I look at a PlayStation showcase when a PlayStation showcase is announced, and I go, okay, cool, they just happen to have enough to, like, dress it up in that way.
Sure.
So that's going to be the big determining factor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just went on a rant.
No, you're good. And I everything you said, like, totally valid. Like, that makes a lot of sense. It is just, they can't also, like, they have to wait a certain amount of time to then look at their teams and be like, hey, like, are you actually going to hit 2025? Or are you going to hit 2026? Like, you have to be confident with this stuff, especially with how fluid everything is, right? You have to be able to be like, hey, Ghost of Yotei is actually coming out this year. I'm like, no, we're ready to show it. We're ready to go. Wolverine is actually coming out next year. Like, we got to make sure to show something and not just show the CGI trailer and be like, this game's alive. Like, don't freak out. Like, you got to show a little bit more now in 2025. People are kind of getting wise to the idea of just showing CGI trailers. Like, you got to show a little bit more. And show, of course, we can always do the Year of Dreams, right? Every if they really want to, showcase, PlayStation Showcase could be like, you know what, fuck it. We only have Wolverine, we have Yotei, and we have Saros. I always say Soros.
Saros.
George Soros.
Sauron.
Saros, I believe.
We have those three. Sure, fuck it. We're doing another Ratchet and Clank 5 years from now. Fuck it, put the CGI. Put the CGI. Put the logo on screen. They could always do that. I mean, Bethesda did that one year where it's like, here's Starfield, here's Elden Ring. I mean, not Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls, right? But you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you have things that are lined up that are actually coming out in the next year.
Barrett, what's up?
I don't know if many of you know this, but I'm very much a pessimist.
What?
Surprising, I know.
Ain't no way.
I feel like this summer we don't get either. Ghost of Yotei is at Keeley's thing. Wolverine at TGA's.
Here's the thing.
And that's all.
I agree with you for the as far as the possibility of both those things showing up those places. I still think we get a state of play. I think a state of play, though, ends up being the third party. All right, what do you third parties have that are coming out in 2026?
Yeah, maybe the alternate is state of play, and the one big PlayStation thing there is Ghost of Yotei.
Because that is how they've been operating. If you look at the last 4 years of PlayStation, let's say, you get to the summer, and if it's a state of play, that means that you are going to get a big PlayStation thing at Summer Game, like whatever is like the next big PlayStation thing, they'll show at Summer Game Fest or maybe at the Game Awards, right? Like, but if it's a PlayStation showcase, still we somehow do get PlayStation things at Keeley. They're at Keeley no matter what, but it is just the level of like the thing that we. So like, I can't think of the exact example. I think the last time we got a PlayStation showcase, there was still like some small PlayStation thing that ended up as part of Keeley's thing. Maybe it was Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah,
or Last of Us Online.
Remember the dual
It was Last of Us multiplayer, and
I think it was both.
It was both.
It was both,
and both had leaked, or maybe just the Part 1 had leaked.
Yeah, Part 1 had leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they like
saw that
they
one
like
image
Keeley.
of multiplayer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I mean, it was a great conversation, but like in May, PlayStation Showcase, we have new IP from Sony Santa Monica. We have Ghost of Yotei new trailer, Wolverine, Until Dawn 2.
Are you looking at predict? Are you wait? Oh, you're Roger.
and then Bloodborne remake. I'm just putting it out there again. We're getting all that stuff.
If
it's
you
crazy.
Who's making the Bloodborne remake?
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
It doesn't have to be a remake. You know what I mean? Just something. You know, we can put it.
If you want my actual prediction, I think it's a showcase.
Yeah, me too.
I think and the only reason I say that is because I think 2026 is going to be a banger year. I think you're at a place as PlayStation where you have enough to show. I think it is good. I think it's all the things that Roger said actually, and then some surprises.
I think I'm thinking just with what we have already. Like I think it's too early for Santa Monica. Like I know they've been like gestating for a bit, but you already have. Let's say Marathon does actually come out this year, then Ghosts of Yotei. Then you have Intergalactic, which they have been on the record of saying they want it to come out within like 18 months of them announcing it, right? Or something like that.
Wait, did they say that?
I think...
no, I don't believe them at all.
2027.
Druckmann said something...
That game's coming out in 2030.
That's what they said. I'm pretty sure, chat, let me know, kindoffunny.com/you're wrong if I'm misquoting Druckmann there, but I'm pretty sure he was in an interview saying that. And then something else for next year, like I see God of War being, or Cory Barlog's game being like 2027.
See, I'm even saying it like a showcase. I don't even think I would put more money on Intergalactic not being there than being there. But I still think you have it because I think the things that we're mentioning right now already make for a banger showing, right? Yeah. Ghost of Yotei, Saros, you Marathon debut, and Marathon you say is coming out this fall, and you do like a big breakout for it. Death Stranding 2 we've not mentioned, but that'll be there, and that'll probably be like the last big trailer for Death Stranding 2 if that game comes out, let's say either summer or sometime in fall. And then add in 2 more first party things and you're golden.
Yeah. And then you'll have a smattering of third party stuff.
Yeah, third party stuff. I'm positive PlayStation has more partnerships.
They have enough stuff to make a showcase. Yeah, it just comes down to...
Put Lost Soul aside in there.
Yeah.
Some Stellar Blade DLC.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking. Yeah, like I think they have like the new Stellar, not the new Stellar Blade, but more Stellar Blade like games. Third party partnerships.
Yeah, Phantom Blade Zero. Did you mention that one?
No, but that'll be in there.
Yep.
I think you get a showcase. That's my prediction. Roger.
That's my prediction too. I don't know why he's fucking stealing my prediction.
That's my prediction.
I can't believe
that's fucking crazy.
Roger, I can't believe you're trying to take Bless's prediction as your own.
Blesstradamus
I have one thing.
Join the chat. We're going to move on to story number 3, but before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindoffunny and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, where you can go and get the Kind of Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Built. Y'all already know I'm a big points and rewards guy, but here's a PSA for anyone who rents. If you haven't heard of Built, you're about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you will earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/kindoffunny. That's joinbilt.com/kindoffunny. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. Join built.com/kindoffunny to start earning points on your rent payments today. That's BILT. This episode's brought to you by Factor. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Greg Miller's been loving how simple it is to enjoy his Factor meals as he's rushing between shows each day here at Kind of Funny. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Multiple people here at Kind of Funny have been loving their experience with Factor, and you can too. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. This podcast is brought to you by Stash. Saving and investing can feel impossible, but with Stash, it's not just a reality, it's easy. Stash isn't just an investing app. It's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with dependable financial strategies to help you reach your goals faster. They'll provide you with personalized advice on what to invest in based on your goals, or if you want to just sit back and watch your money go to work, you can opt into their award-winning expert-managed portfolio that picks stocks for you. Stash has helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to get.stash.com/kindafunny to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/kindafunny. Paid non-client endorsements, not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk. Offer is subject to T&Cs.
And we're back. And I was going to return on some super chats, but before I do, I saw like a little conversation in chat that sparked a what if scenario in my head. And I like, here's the thing. Y'all know I love what ifs.
Yeah.
I love just talking about things that aren't like actual
It's your favorite show, I hear.
I mean, listen, it's not. But okay, Lucid Dream in chat earlier was asking, is Cory Barlog's game the one that is rumored to be the space game? And then I think Wasted Bandwidth in chat like followed that up and saying like, man, another space game after Intergalactic would be wild. And Barry, you can confirm for me, Cory Barlog's game I think was rumored.
Yeah,
as
that
a
was
space
the
game?
that was the rumor. I don't know if that's
And I remember our theory for the longest time for the Naughty Dog game was that it was going to be like a
Like fantasy, I think.
no. I remember at
I
one
heard
point
so many
we were
Naughty
talking.
Dog
Maybe
things.
this was just like wishful thinking, where like a heist game or something like a narrative, like almost like a
like a Mission Impossible.
spy
That
heist
was-
kind of thing.
I think that was my dream Naughty Dog game.
Gotcha.
Because I always pitch that they make like a Mission Impossible style game. I digress. The what if scenario, and I want y'all to put your CEO caps on. All right, say this is before Intergalactic being announced. If Cory Barlog and Neil Druckmann separately came to you and were both like, "Hey, we want to make a space like sci-fi space exploration game," if you had to choose and be like, only one of you can do this because we don't want to overlap too much, which one are you
Sorry,
choosing?
I found a tweet from Cory Barlog, and this is from November of 2019. So this is before like you've even started at Kind of Funny, Bless. And Cory Barlog tweets out this like weird end
Yeah, I remember
transition.
this.
Oh, I remember this.
And the first response I see is, "Please tell me you're working on a new Jet Force Gemini." And my reply to you,
That's really good. God, that is so me in 2019.
that's so funny.
Just one Ninja for Gemini from anybody. That's really good.
Yeah, Naughty Dog.
Oh, you're
I'm
a
sorry.
Naughty Dog.
Of course, the gamer in me wants Sony Santa Monica to do their thing because I whatever. It's Naughty Dog. They made the most money. I'm sorry. Like, you have the HBO show. Fucking go. I'm sorry. You do whatever the fuck you want. Like, literally, you tell me you want to make a video game that's about gummy bears. Yeah, fucking go. I don't care. Like,
Man.
yeah, I would greenlight whatever Neil Druckmann says if I'm the CEO of that company.
I guess if
you're the CEO.
We could have the secret third option of you just greenlight both, which I'm sure
If they're
PlayStation
different
probably
enough,
did.
then yeah. If they're different enough, then yeah, I would greenlight.
What
both,
if it's the
but-
same exact fucking game? What if Neil Druckmann and Cory Barlog separately came to you, CEO of PlayStation, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to make a space bounty hunter game where you're going after your former crew," and the protagonist
Well, this is
a
when
bald
you
lady.
this is when you pull a fucking Ninja Gaiden 4 and you say fuck it, co-developed. Fucking smash these two studios, 10,000 people working on one game, the biggest
That is
failure of all
the super
time.
game, the first quadruple A game.
Fuck it, y'all. We're putting these two together. We're gonna make this game $400 million. We got this, everybody.
Man, let's do it.
Let's
All
do
right?
it, everybody.
Team them
Which
up.
one are you choosing? Don't fucking weasel your way out of this one.
I mean, I'm choosing the secret third option of both of you guys do it. But if I had to choose one, I might go Cory Barlog.
Same.
I might
you're
go,
the
I think I'll go
CEO?
Sony, and I'm the CEO. I might be like, all right, we're gonna greenlight Cory Barlog.
Cory Barlog.
You're not going Cory Barlog? I guess you just said that.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't.
You just
He,
like-
you don't
like
got the
Naughty Dog.
HBO show.
They're about to have a.
He ain't hanging out with Pedro Pascal.
What, Amazon, Netflix? I
That's
forget
in
what
development hell. We don't know what the
Hold
fuck that
on.
is.
God of War
I mean, you're right. You're right.
adaptation. That's Amazon. So
Amazon.
It's going to be
Who
expensive.
is Amazon?
That's gonna be so successful.
Yeah. I would say let them both do it because there's a chance that maybe Cory Barlog's game is just a sci-fi game, maybe nothing to do with space. So then you have a little bit of
No, in the
more-
hypothetical,
Oh, they're both- it's both space.
They're the
Okay.
exact same premise.
Sci-fi can only be in space.
Are
Got
they?
it.
No, in this premise.
Okay, how about this?
Just in this,
Alright, Neil
just
Druckmann-
in this hypothetical.
Neil Druckmann comes to me and he's like, hey, I got a space game. And then Cory Barlog comes like, hey, I got a space game. And then Neil Druckmann's like, hey, I got a space game, but it's ghost written by Logic. I'm like, no. You go over here, Cory Barlog. Actually, no,
Corey,
never mind,
you're gonna
never
make
mind.
your game.
Yeah, that's a good
Alright.
one. Yeah, should have said that part.
Nah, you're fine. We love Logic here. When you laugh, it's disrespectful.
He's not listening.
I love Logic most of the time.
Sometimes.
Sometimes he has a lot
respect-
of good albums.
Two.
He has more than 2. He has like 3.
Under Pressure and
He has like 3 out of 15. He has like 3.
Under pressure, no pressure.
Under Pressure, No Pressure. Integral. What was the second one called? I was gonna say Intergalactic. The Incredible True Story. That's good.
yeah.
Oh, I
okay,
like-
I'll give him 3.
I
I'll
like
give
Young
him 3.
Sinatra 4.
That's crazy.
That's a good album.
All right, just keep it pushing.
Story number 3. Xbox boss Phil Spencer issues an update on Rare's long in development Everwild. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. What happened to Rare's Everwild? It's been over 5 years since the game was announced back during Microsoft's XO19 presentation. There was a couple albums ago that he it was like a lot of songs on it, but it was like 2 albums ago. It was good. I forget what it
Are
was
we
called.
talking about Xbox?
No, I'm talking about back to Logic. 2 Logic albums ago. It wasn't. Oh no, it was like 3 then. It was before College Park chat. They'll get it to me. Repeated no-shows during Xbox showcases and rumors of reboots have caused some to wonder whether Everwild had fallen by the wayside. Not so, Xbox boss Phil Spencer has said. In an interview with Xbox Era, Spencer listed Everwild as one of the games yet to come out that he was excited for, adding he'd recently visited UK studio Rare to get a look at Everwild and the progress the developers were making.
Vinyl Days?
Vinyl Days, yes.
That's what
Vinyl
I'm
Days
saying.
was good, chat.
And that was the one he made after he said he would retire, right?
Yes. I mean, he made like a billion albums after he
Nah,
said.
I know.
He made an album with a different name. He was like, this isn't Logic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm
Yeah,
some
yeah,
other
yeah.
guy, and I'm making an album. just don't retire. Right? Just don't say if you're going to retire if you're not going to retire. Quote, yeah, State of Decay is just one of the franchises I love back from the original one, so that one stays on the board. I do think the work that Double Fine's doing and how Tim Schafer kind of solicits feedback from the team. And the other one, I'll say, because I was recently out of Rare, or I was recently out at Rare, it's nice to see the team with Everwild and the progress they're making, end quote. Spencer said Microsoft had been able to give the developers of those games, State of Decay, the next game from Double Fine, and Everwild, time while still having a packed schedule of releases, bolstered obviously by the acquisitions of Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. Quote, we can give those teams time, Spencer said, and next week I'm going to be up in Vancouver with the Coalition, the Gears of War developer, and how fun is that, end
So
quote.
fun, Phil.
As for Everwild, it's faced concern over the years after the aforementioned reboot rumor, which Microsoft has denied, and the exit of creative director Simon Woodroffe in 2020. Rare filled the director's chair with veteran game designer Greg Mayles, who previously worked on Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, Viva Pinata, and Sea of Thieves. Everwild, that shit's never coming out, man.
It's coming
We
out.
last
That's
saw
never
this
coming out.
4 years ago.
It'll come out. Rare gets the time to do this because they have a fucking hit that's making them millions of dollars a year, I'm sure, right? Like they have something that is continuously getting them money, income for Microsoft, so they get the room to do this. And of course, you know, it has some issues, and it's going to probably be a while before we see it. But yeah, I assume you see Everwild. I'm kind of bullish on that one.
I do wonder, and this is 4 years ago at this point, right? So like, if it was going to change, probably would have changed by now. But Simon Woodroffe, the creative director, leaving in 2020,
Yeah.
and like them filling in the director's chair with Greg Mayles, who is a man that made Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, Viva Pinata, and see if I'm like, do y'all want to make Everwild? I guess that's my thing.
Interesting.
Do
Okay.
y'all still want to, like, how much of this was Simon Woodroffe, right? And like
Okay, I
his
like
input.
this.
But again, him leaving forever ago makes me think like, all right, you would have canceled that by now. If that
Yeah,
wasn't
and
the
also
case.
we don't really necessarily have an update on what exactly Everwild is anymore, right? You
Yeah.
never know, right? Like we could have kept the art style, we could have kept the idea of it, we could have changed the vibe of it, right? Maybe the genre of it. Like there's room for that to kind of change into the vision of this new director, right? Because it is just I mean, you look at that trailer, it's like fuck, that game looks gorgeous, right? Of course, it's probably concept and it's none of that's running an actual engine, but it looks beautiful. If you have the baseline for that, you can kind of mold that into something else. I can see that.
Yeah. I guess my two things also end up being, is the audience excited or still excited for Everwild, right? Like, is there hype enough from the audience to where, like, you've been working on this forever. It was reported that there was struggles, right?
Sure.
Of like, this game was, the development was turbulent a bit, right? Is it a thing of, all right, scrap it. Of course, you already announced it, but how many people are sitting here on the edge of their seat waiting for Everwild? Or can we turn around and make, I don't know if Sea of Thieves 2 makes sense, but I'll say it. Sea of Thieves 2
Yeah.
or Banjo 3
Sure.
or Viva Pinata.
I mean, this is the type of game that you don't even need people excited about, right? If this was Gears 6 or whatever, and everyone's like, gives a shit about Gears 6, like just reboot and make it E-Day, like which they did already. But what I'm saying is like you don't need people excited about it until the game is ready to be released. Right, and
Yeah.
that is one.
That's a good point.
That is one. Sea of Thieves would be the same thing, right? You'd say, okay, it's a bunch of pirates. Okay, I get it. What people play it? Oh shit, this is a hit, right? So, Everwild, the type of game it is, the type of studio Rare is. Until people actually play it and that game is like ready to be released, if there's no hype, then we have an issue. But who cares? Like that game could change names. It could be whatever. Whatever Rare is working on next will come out, and I do believe it will be Everwild or whatever the spark of Everwild was originally. So it makes sense. Also, this interview is very interesting. There's a lot of other tidbits that I know we didn't include.
Yeah, there was the one where Phil Spencer had mentioned that you would see more like PlayStation logos and Nintendo logos and like Xbox presentations.
Yeah.
Which I didn't include just because I feel like we've had that news story a million times. But
No, I'm just saying, like, this is a good interview. You should read it. You should
Yeah.
look into it. Everybody, required reading right there.
Story number 4. This is a really sad one. Half-Life 2 and Dishonored art lead Viktor Antonov dies, aged just 52. This is Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. Excuse me. Half-Life 2 art director and Dishonored designer Viktor Antonov has died, just aged 52. Former Valve writer Mark Laidlaw revealed the news on social media, saying he had no details of Antonov's death, but he had it confirmed that the visionary art lead had died. Quote, I didn't want to say much till I felt it was confirmed, but I learned today that Victor, our visionary art lead on Half-Life 2, has died, Laidlaw said. Quote, I don't have the details, just sadness. Brilliant and original, made everything better, end quote. Of course, very sad news story to hear. I think one of the posts that I think hit for me regarding this was from Daniel Dwyer. He posted on Blue Sky, devastating news. Everyone I interviewed at Valve and Arcane had nothing but nice things to say about Victor. I was so excited to finally interview him last year. He was kind and courteous. We chatted about his work on Kingpin, and he promised we'd do it again. Endlessly talented. R.I.P. Victor. Thank you.
So sad.
Very
So
sad. Yeah, 52. That is way too young to
Way
be
too
passing
young.
away. And
Yeah.
so I think it's wild that video games are at a weird age where they're not old enough yet to like where we're seeing people that had such influence, pass away, I guess, as often compared to like other older mediums. And when it happens like this, I think it is a reminder of like, oh man, like there are a lot of people that had such impact on
Yeah.
the art that we love. Like they're still here with us. We got to cherish them while they're here with
Yeah.
us because we don't know like when people might leave.
And you see his art, and it's like just the art that he made for Dishonored and for Half-Life is what I think about when I think about Dishonored and Half-Life, right? Like, and that like that his art is that world, right? And like so much to the core of the world building for those universes. So man, R.I.P. So
R.I.P.
sad.
Story number 5. Ubisoft announces Siege X, the biggest transformation in Rainbow Six Siege history. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Ubisoft has teased a significant evolution of Rainbow Six Siege, promising to unveil what it calls Siege X in March. Siege X is described as the biggest transformation in the game's history, including new tactical gameplay, graphical and audio upgrades, and more, end quote. This is not Rainbow Six Siege 2, rather a significant change for Rainbow Six Siege designed to set the competitive multiplayer game for its second decade of live service.
This is not Rainbow Six Siege 2, but it's Rainbow Six Siege 2.
X. No, it's X.
It's just 2. Yeah, this is cool. I'm interested to see what this is and what evolution this is, because you can have two different sides of it, right? You can have this actually be the thing that like pushes forward the game into the next decade, or this could be something like Counter-Strike 2, which has that like bump of popularity for a little bit, but then it kind of just settles down to exactly what Counter-Strike Go was, right, beforehand. So I hope that this is a good jumping off point for people like me. I've always wanted to play Siege, but then, you see all those updates. You're like, I don't even know what the meta is. I don't even know how to jump on. So it's cool to have that as a baseline. And from reading the Reddit and like seeing people that are in the not CSGO, Siege,
Six.
yes, the Siege community, this seems like it was needed. This needed a fresh reboot of like, hey, here's a way to jump onto it, make this more competitive, make this more into what people have been looking for. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see it. Would you try it out?
Oh, I love Siege.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would 1000% try it out. This actually really excites me. I like the tag. There's a tagline at the end of the trailer that says a new era of Siege is coming, which that builds up very high expectations for me as far as what this is going to be. I know they go out of their way to say this is not Rainbow Six Siege 2, but I think my expectations right now is something akin to Overwatch 2, where I want like a big revamp, right? I want you to come in, blow shit up, like pun intended, right? Come in and like break the walls down.
Yeah.
Like redefine, not even redefine, I guess like give me a new coat of paint for what Rainbow Six Siege is. Cause this is one of those examples to me of if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Rainbow Six Siege is such a good game at its core. And to the conversation we're having earlier about Payday 2 and like Overwatch and things coming in and being competition, I don't think there's much competition for what Rainbow Six Siege is. It's very
one-of-one.
It's a one-of-one style of game, right? It's a very unique game, and I think it needs to keep that core of what it is. But like, could you add new maps? Could you add could you add in like a significant amount of new maps?
Yeah.
Could you add in a significant amount of operators? Could you maybe wipe the board of operators and like add in new ones? I know that might piss people off, but I think a big refresh for something like this, especially for how long it's been around, is very much needed.
It's just X-Defiant. We boot it up. It's like, surprise,
Rainbow
bitches.
Six Siege X-Defiant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
No, honestly, looking at this news, it kind of like gives me not hope, but I look back to like the news story. I think it was on Friday. I don't know who was on that Games Deal. I think it was maybe Tim and Mike. Where they were talking about how Ubisoft was saying for the next 10 years or whatever, the future, they're focusing on live service games, right? And I think you kind of look at that and you're like, that's like, how are you guys fucking up this bad? You know what I mean? Like live service clearly wasn't for you. But I look at this, I look at Siege X, I'm like, shit, that's a smart idea. For Honor, if you have a new For Honor 2 or
For Honor X.
Yeah, or something like whatever, like a new like jumping off point for that. Like, and if you kind of just build it, like I could see that working out very well for them in the next few years. So honestly, like good Ubisoft move. Good Ubisoft move.
Good.
One of the few ones.
Yeah, the rare.
One of the few ones.
Yeah, a few good Ubisoft W's here.
Yeah.
Roger, a Ubisoft W is huge. That's big. But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
You go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where you'd find all small news items you need to know.
You tried.
I tried. I looked at you, and then I fucked up, and then I looked down.
As soon as you weren't reading it, I was like, he's not gonna get this shit. He ain't gonna get it. All right, you ain't got the sauce like that, young blood.
You got tomorrow. I got tomorrow. I'm gonna memorize that by tomorrow, everybody.
Let's get into Wii News. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has sold 2 million copies.
2 million.
Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact launches July 17th on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC.
Is it not Hunter x Hunter? Just Hunter x Hunter?
No, it's just Hunter x Hunter.
That's bullshit.
The X is silent.
Don't fuck that.
And then Whisker Squadron Survivor leaves early access on February 21st and launches on PS5 and PC.
This game is rad as hell. I remember the demo before it like was early access or whatever was out last year. I remember telling some of y'all to play it. It's a Star Fox roguelite with like story elements and characters and all this stuff, and it's rad and fun as hell. The fact that it's coming out like very shortly, like have this on y'all's radar. It's very fun, very chaotic, and just like a blast of a time. So definitely check it out when it comes out. And honestly, it might be the perfect Steam Deck game because I played it on my like old shitty laptop at my desk and it ran great. So.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. This is one I've been looking forward to. I sadly didn't play was it early access or the demo? I guess early access.
There was the demo and then an early access point, I think.
Oh yeah, and I think I had the demo literally downloaded on my computer, and I know because I'll see it on my Steam thing for months until I was just like, I gotta delete this. I'm not gonna play it. But I'm also somebody who I prefer to play the full game as opposed to like play demo and like not have all the features and stuff available. So this is exciting. Get hyped.
Beautiful.
Whisker Squadron is what it's called, and that is it for Wii News. Let's bring in a few super chats before we get out of here. Man, a lot of y'all riding in. A lot of y'all have things to say. Scorpion Brew says, I was in the alphas of Rainbow Six. It has come so far. That's one of those success stories that, like, I think not underrated because we talk about it a lot, but like I think is one to be reminded of every now and then. Of Rainbow Six Siege came out and it wasn't an immediate success. No. That was one of those ones where they built on it, and then it became a huge success.
Yeah.
And
just know, everybody, if you want Vegas 3 or whatever the fuck, you're never getting it. You're never getting Rainbow Six Vegas 3. Never happening.
Just
never happening. Just play this one.
Remember when they made Extraction? Rainbow Six Extraction.
I like the better one was Quarantine. What the fuck was it?
It was called Quarantine, and then 2020 happened, and they're like, shit. We gotta change the name of this.
Shit.
Zeke Speak writes in and says, seriously, Whisker Squadron rips. I played it on a month-long trip, only on Steam Deck, and wowee.
Wowee hot dog.
Kuma Babam says, blessing, did you see the new Final Fantasy Commander decks announced for MTG? Barrett, you might need to Google those words for me.
Tom Marks had the exclusive.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Good for Tom Marks. I know he's a big Magic boy.
He was able to reveal a lot of shit.
Oh shit.
Why are they always red? I'm not a red deck player, Roger. I might have to start doing it. Cause like, this Cloud one is pretty sick. Oh, here we go. These are my colors.
Do they have Noctis?
But I don't know Titus like that. I'm not a big Titus guy. Titus?
I'm a Titus guy.
Titus.
Damn, no Noctis, bro. That's crazy.
These are cool though. These are cool. Yeah. So you got the Cloud deck, you got the Titus deck, you got I miss what the names of those other ones, but like different Final Fantasy games are being represented here.
It's 14.
Well, 14, of course. You got to do it for Michael Heim. I need to get that boy into Magic.
I feel like that's right up his alley.
I think it is right up his alley. I think if I get him a Final Fantasy 14 Commander deck, oh man,
birthday's coming up. I don't know.
I was like, shit.
It's just always coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Especially if you're Mike.
Shit. I gotta throw him a surprise party.
Christopher Burnett says, remember the 28th of October as the day of GTA 6 releases, and we embark on the epic journey where star-crossed lovers worlds collide. Will their love be big enough to save them, or will it be their downfall?
Hey, Christopher, are you taken over by an AI?
No, Christopher. The joke is that I believe last time I was on the show, Christopher Burnett, he wrote in something that sounded like a PR blast.
Oh, that's good.
And I was like, do you work
He
for
sounded
this company?
like a PR person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was for like the Everywhere game.
That's awesome.
The Mind's Eye game. And I was like, are you PR for Mind's Eye? And now he is PR for GTA 6. I love this bit from Christopher Burnett.
Yeah.
Beautiful Chode writes in and says, that's great.
That's an awesome name.
I live near Portillo's. Okay area. Better meetup option would be Time Out Food Hall in Fulton Market. Big enough and no need reservation.
Oh.
Well, right now we're gonna stick to Portillo's, but listen, I'll sit on it. I'll think about it. I trust Beautiful Chode.
You'll sit on the Beautiful Chode.
CJ Splitzen wrote in and said, I think too many games are piling up. Where and when do we do Sony's show? Oh, I see. When and where do Sony show Cory Barlog's game? Wolverine, RE9, Intergalactic, etc.
Showcase, baby.
Riley writes in and says, with fair games, I agree it could possibly scratch the itch that Payday 3 missed, but also Battlefield handling. Battlefield Hardline is what they meant to say. Battlefield Hardline, Cops and Robbers, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's cool.
That was
the worldwide success. Battlefield Hardline. Everybody played it.
I will say that when they were showing that off, I was like, that's pretty sick. No one played it.
I love playing as the police, Roger.
I was a playtester for that.
Wait, really?
Don't break embargo.
Yeah.
Don't break embargo.
That does not seem like a Barrett video game.
Well, let me tell you, is that when you're right outside of high school looking to make money any sort of way and get free games in any sort of which way, with EA, like literally an EA office 30 minutes away.
You told me about this.
Yeah.
You told me about this like as you were doing it.
Yes.
Fuck, that's
and
so funny.
No, it was before I knew any of y'all. This was like
really?
2014 or something like that. Yeah, it was before I knew any of y'all, and I played a weird. It was
crazy.
definitely like, oh, they're trying to do Payday, but
that's sick.
Battlefield.
I had to put myself in the mind space of where was I at in 2014, and you know what I was doing? I was listening to 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Come on.
Fuck yeah.
J. Cole classic album.
Fuck yeah.
The GOAT. Let's hop into You're Wrong.
Wait, we got one big one.
We got one more?
We got to say that.
Can you
one.
read it for me?
Yeah, sure. Delaney Twining gave us a really generous super chat
snap.
and said, birthday tax, thank you, Kind of Funny, for a great 10 years and cheers to many more. Kind of Funny has gotten me through so many rough times, and I love you all more than you know. Have a wonderful day and be good to each other. Thank you so much, Delaney Twining. That's really beautiful.
Happy birthday, Delaney Twining. And yes, be good to each other.
Oh.
That smoke was for you, Delaney. Now it's time for You're Wrong. Of course, you write in and let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. We only have one You're Wrong here from Tyler, who says, tell Roger MGS2 makes no sense without playing MGS1.
Okay, I wasn't wrong. I didn't do it.
It'd be your thing about it.
I
don't
am
like
thinking about it.
I don't
Because
like-
I seen the beginning and I see Raiden. I love Raiden.
No, man.
I love Raiden.
You bet if you touch MGS2 without
so
playing
hot.
MGS1, we got
Yeah,
beef.
that's wrong. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, but
You're
like,
incorrect.
But like, no, but it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You know what I mean? Like out of
No.
order. You know, it's super
No.
fun.
It's like Memento, you know?
Yeah,
you gotta work
exactly,
backwards. You gotta work
exactly,
backwards.
exactly. No
Because you
memory,
don't
you don't-
understand
you
anything,
don't
and
know
then you
what's
get to
happening,
the
you start
first
off
game,
with
you're like,
Raiden.
whoa.
I
I
could
mean-
see the argument for 3 first.
Yeah.
Like between 3 and 1.
But
but
I
2?
already played 5. I played half of 5, and then we got to zombies, and I didn't fuck with that. And then I played like all of Peace Walker. I don't remember shit about that.
Wait,
So-
Peace Walker?
Yeah. And then now I got to play
What
2.
order are you doing this in?
I gotta
Why are you
play
playing
2.
MGS5 first? I mean, MGS5
Well, I
is
played
fun.
Peace Walker, then I played 5. Sorry, I should have said that. And then I played half.
I
of
guess
5.
that's kind of an order that you can play.
And then now I got to go 2.
To playing Peace Walker in MGS5 without playing MGS3 is a crime.
Gotta play 2. Gotta play 2.
Don't play 2.
Gotta see what's up with 2. He's naked in the beginning. I remember that.
Wait, who's naked?
Raiden, right?
That's the end.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't think he's naked in the beginning.
Someone's naked at the beginning. I remember seeing that on G4 on X-Play.
Fair, is anybody naked in the beginning of MGS2?
Am I just making him up?
I think you're making
you're
up,
just
unless you're
making
talking
shit
about when
up.
they saw the poster of the hot
Who
poster.
without one? Are people not naked?
No,
Shit, man.
not until the very.
I think I'm just mixing up my DeviantArts.
I mean, that's fair. I do that sometimes too. I do that
Shit.
sometimes.
Yeah, Reagan gets naked. Yeah, see?
Yeah, but not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning.
He's doing naked cartwheels.
Yeah, and like the end of the game.
Ah, shit.
Not that I'm trying to spoil things
So I've
for
already
you.
played that one. I can just, it's a replay if I play it.
But you played the part where he was naked?
I don't know.
Did you? Did somebody hand you a controller
I don't know.
halfway through the
I
game?
just remember
maybe
very
you
vividly
tuned
him
in
doing
for
it.
our stream and saw it and assumed.
No,
that
I think it was X-Play. I think I was watching Cheat or something like that. Remember
Yeah.
Cheat? Kristen Holt?
Yeah, I do.
Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
come on.
What a good show.
G4. Bring it back.
One more again.
Run it back one more time, one more round, one more year. Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with a Kind of Funny membership on YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GAMESCAST next with Karl and the stream after. But until next time, Game Daily.